television, your breakfast companion. My name is Steven Abba.
Good morning to you. My name is Mercy. Wow. Good morning, Steven.
Yeah, good morning, Mercy. I like your outfit.
I thought you were
Looking
going to
all
the Africanness.
Very African and a touch of Europeanism because of the sewing style. Okay. Well, meanwhile, something trending. I saw it. Before now, it was trending, but
Yeah.
it's like started trending yesterday again at the public notice from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC). That NERC says the body empowered to meet the yearnings of Nigerians for stable, adequate, and safe electricity supply. The commission, in a public notice released on Saturday, said it has taken the bull by the horn by releasing to the public the rights of every electricity consumer to curb arbitrariness by the discourse and aid consumers fighting for their rights. And one of the rules says the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has declared that it is illegal for any electricity distribution company, DISCO, to carry out disconnection of the customer's power supply without prior notification in writing. And we have many other rules. You know, we've been talking about electricity, so I was
Yes.
wondering how you feel about this.
This is actually it's a cheerful news. It's going to show transparency. It's now a document that people can now make a reference to.
So yeah,
To quote the distribution companies,
Yeah.
whenever they are erring wrongly or rightly. I like this document because oftentimes the reason why many people fall victims of certain circumstances is because they are not aware
Yeah.
of certain laws that back them or protect them or shield them. If they are, then they will be on the safer side.
yeah,
This, and again, with law, ignorance is not an excuse,
Excuse, yeah.
right? So likewise now, taking this, like, God is taking this bull by the horn, just like they outrightly pointed it out, because the clause that really caught my attention wasn't even the mere fact that this course will have to write to customers
before disconnection.
before
is made.
disconnection. That wasn't even the best part for me. The best part for me, Stephen, was the fact that customers, it is not their responsibility to buy,
Transformers.
repair,
Yeah.
fix, or whatever that is associated with transformer, with
Poles,
poles,
wires,
wires,
yes.
whatever you call it. Now there has been this constant outcry in Nigeria where oftentimes communities are being, in fact, transformers are vandalized, and they report to discuss, they do nothing about it. They tell them to make contributions to buy these transformers. You see communities raising money, they buy these transformers, they call these people to come and fix them, and they still have to pay them
Yeah.
for the services of fixing them, and then at the end of the day, they still have to pay for the bill, the NEPA lights, right? And so there have been this outcry, like, what really is their own role? But now we have it now, they're coming out to spell it clearly. It is not the responsibility of customers to fix, it is theirs, and they're giving ultimatum within this day. So now there is a document that you can actually sue them to
Yeah,
court.
you see, and this is not as if these rules were not there. One is to make laws, another one is to implement or
People
to
were
enforce
not aware.
it. So now, these rules have been there, but nobody was enforcing them. So you see, people die when ignorance is rife. So what happened here was, or what is happening right now, because I don't think is already in implementation. It's just they've just released it. What is happening is that when corruption is rife, it gives room for other smaller corruption. So you see somebody threatening you that I'll disconnect you, and they even come on Saturdays, on Sundays, when when people are not around and all that, they just come disconnect you and don't really know what happened. They will remove your wires and walk away with them. I think this is actually going to curb that particular method of. And they now said something again that like they say, the metering system of those persons that are unmetered should be according to NERC methodology. We don't know what that is yet, but I'm sure Nigerians are going to be asking, and NERC is going to tell us what that methodology is, because they just look at your house. Okay, 2-bedroom flat. All right, 4-bedroom flat. Just give estimated bill. So you see people paying as much as 30,000 naira for a 2-bedroom flat, even before this tariff. You see, so I think this is going to help Nigerians in channeling their resources to the right places.
But with the hike in electricity tariff now, do you know some people even prefer the estimated method of payments rather than metering?
Metering, yeah.
Right? But here it's saying that
It's very important. And how much is the meter? Meter is about, I don't know if that price is legal or illegal. It's about 160,000 naira for the meter, and I think that should be one face. So I'm thinking, if you have 2 or 3 faces in a house, how much would that cost? And the issue again is not, it's not as if they don't have the meters, but metering will actually not allow those ones that are corrupt to make money from the people.
You know, part of this clause that I was looking for was on the part of consequences.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still very much interested in this clause. I said it is not the customer's responsibility to buy transformer, fix transformer,
Yeah.
poles or wire, or anything associated with electricity.
Yeah.
Now, is there a stipulated time where these guys are supposed to meet the complaint whenever their transformer is spoiled, or they have issues, or their transformer is vandalized, or they need repair? Is there a way they're supposed to report to this guys, and a stipulated time they're supposed to respond to them? Because seeing that with this now, they may just ignore them completely. We have seen communities that are being in the dark for months now.
Yeah.
And they keep complaining. They even bought everything that the discourse demanded of them, yet they will not come there to still attend to the issues.
Well, this release was made on Saturday, so I want to believe that all these questions we're asking should have answers subsequently, because definitely, if a transformer has gone bad, the people will have to report first, and there should be a timeline for, okay, we'll be coming to repair it in the next 24 hours, 72 hours, and the rest of them. So there should be, by now, people should be handy with all the modalities involved in trying to solve these problems. But I think that is where we'll leave this for now. We are due for a break. Daybreak Benue is still on, and we are glad you're still watching. Our guest is already seated, and we'll be discussing matters revolving around democracy in the party, and of course local government management. Do stay with us. Do not go away. Glad you're still there. This is Daybreak Benue on Benue Television. In case you're just joining us, today we'll be talking about the management of political parties and the upcoming local government elections. Our guest is.
Thank you for that question. Incidentally, I have a book. I wrote a book on the political party administration and management in Nigeria.
Okay.
That's comprehensively on challenges of management of political parties in the entire country, in fact in the entire Africa. So in the book independence, management of political parties in Nigeria was at its peak,
Okay.
at its best, where political parties and executives, there was a clear delineation between their respective functions, where a political party executive can decide the fate of executives, and that is how it's supposed to be. A political party, for you to be effective, has to have a complete independence of themselves, different from the executive, or the different from the people at the helms in terms of governance.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it has not been so since 1999. There has been an aberration,
Okay.
that if you are Mr. President, you are a leader of the political party. That is wrong. President, political party brings about who becomes Mr. President when the party wins. As such, it is wrong to now abdicate the highest authority of the party to Mr. President or to Mr. Governor at the state level. In that book, I brought about the situation in South Africa, where political party administration is at its best. President Thabo Mbeki was president of South Africa.
Through the ANC.
Yes, ANC. The vice president to Mbeki had a problem, and then he was threatened. As Jacob Zuma. He was threatened because he wanted to contest with Thabo Mbeki, the president. The party rose and said that was unfair. And
That was unfair for Zuma.
for Zuma, the president,
the vice president.
that yes, for Thabo Mbeki
to threaten Zuma.
to threaten his
Okay.
vice,
Yeah.
and he was accused of politically motivated threat. And the chairman gave an order: next election, Mbeki will not be president. And that was exactly what happened. Contrary to Nigerian situation, where Chief Audogbe just advised President Obasanjo what was happening in Nigeria at that time was unfair. Of course, within 2 weeks, Audogbe was removed as the chairman of People's Democratic Party.
Was he removed because Obasanjo asked that he is removed, or he used the machinery of the party to remove him?
Of course, we know what is happening now. When a president in Nigeria, that is Nigeria, not where things are working. Not the moment Chief Audogbe advised Mr. President, and the news carried it, that the way you are going is not even to the best interest of the party. Say, okay, come and be the chairman. That's just to distinguish that in Nigeria, the president or the governor controls the party, which is wrong anywhere.
Is it a constitutional matter for example, in the constitution of maybe Labour Party, for example, PDP or APC?
Yes.
Is it in their constitutions that the governor or the president should be the leader of the party? Is it a constitutional thing?
No. Any organization, in any club, anywhere, the chairman of that organization has the supreme authority with their group, with the ESCO. So even in the state here, when we go to government house for meeting, the chairman of the party is the one calling for the meeting and is the one who's supposed to be in charge.
To preside over the meeting?
Yes. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, it is the other way around. In fact, sometimes the chairman will even be shaking to say, because Mr. President is there in the meeting, or at the state level, the governor is there in the meeting. So everybody now will be shaking.
Does this have anything to do with the fact that political parties are now deviating from their ideologies as a party?
Okay, the ideology of the party.
Yes.
Very good. That is part of the problem of mismanagement of political parties in Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, both at the national level, at the state level, is empowered to put Mr. President, Mr. Governor in check when they are deviating from the ideology of the political party. And because that authority by political chairmen, both at the state and the national level, they are not using it. So, Mr. President, Mr. Governor can decide to do anything that may not even be in the constitution of the party.
Okay, let me quickly ask this question. It could be, I think it may be useful to why this is happening. Who funds the party?
Very good. That's very relevant to the discussion at hand. Ideally, political parties supposed to be funded by the members of the party, either through normal dues every year you contribute to the party. But that is the problem now. Because I am a member of a political party, because no person asked us to pay. Yes, no person asks any political person to come and pay dues.
But money is coming into the party.
Money is coming to the party.
All right.
So that is why that is the cream of the problem. That is because they say he who pays
the piper dictates the tune.
So until we go back, because normally each time, even when we are asked to say party members should pay so amount, or even when people are contesting, either Mr. President or Governor can decide to say, "Don't worry, I'm paying for everybody." You have now remove your power.
Yeah.
So that is why we have problem in Nigeria. That is why we have problem even in some states, including Benue. Because the truth is that, like I've told you, whether it's at the national level or state level in Nigeria, the leader of the political party should be the chairman, either the national chairman or the state chairman, not individuals. Not to say this one is too powerful, so this one should be the leader. No, that is not correct.
Okay, now do you think because we're talking about management or democracy, bringing democracy into the party now and inclusiveness. I think that is the issue here now, because if whatever the constitution is truncated, it means democracy even within the party cannot happen. What don't you think is because of this funding majorly, and what should be done concerning that? Because you don't expect somebody to fund your party and the person now you start dictating to the person. I think there's an error there. So what should the party do to bring this democracy and inclusiveness into its midst?
Well, the ideal thing that will bring authority to the political parties in Nigeria is very simple. Depend on your members for your money. Depend on your members' dues, not money from Mr. President to fund the party, or Mr. Governor to fund party, or even pay for their dues, because that is what used to happen. It's a practical thing that we are into. Sometimes when they say go there, this thing, oh, I will just say how many there this thing, what is the total number? That is an aberration. Allow the people to contribute financially for the running of political parties in Nigeria, both at the state and the federal level, so that they will be able to exercise their authority.
Okay, before now, we always hear the slogan, the party is supreme. But now we find cases where there is so much wrangling in the midst of the political party within themselves. This is not just them and another political party within themselves,
Yes.
dragging each other to court, so many unresolved issues within a particular political parties. And then we spoke about ideologies. Now, how would political party members oppose ideologies when it's so easy for them to cross carpets?
Yeah.
And then this issue of loyalty to the party. Many people are in a political party, but they have no idea what that party stands for, or the label that was put in by the older politicians to make that party to stand firm.
Yeah, I think that is correct. The party cannot stand firm when your source of survival is not firm. That is the problem. So, I will attribute what is happening in Nigeria to the high level of poverty, even within political party members. That is the crux of the matter. I used to tell people that where I have my confidence to speak the way I speak, even when we have meetings, is that I don't live above myself. If I have a minimum standard of living, that's all I follow. But most politicians, I always say it, 90% of political party members, I would say in Nigeria, in Benue, cannot survive if you remove their source of livelihood from politics. That is why we have the problem we are having in Nigeria, in Benue State, other states, because the program is, we are not just talking about, we are talking about states, and even the nation, the management, political management there. Until, like I always advise, if you want to go to into politics, have a source of livelihood. If you don't have source of surviving, when you go into politics, you become boy. because you'll be looking for where to get minimum, maybe something to eat for that day and your family. So what you are not supposed to do, you'll be forced to do it because you have no say of your own. You have what we call second address. Politicians, for you to even have power to exercise your conscience, you should have a second address. So that if somebody sends you to go and block road, you don't even have time. If you are busy in the morning, if you are busy, if you are not in your office or your business, even 1 hour is like you are wasting time. So where do you have time to go and someone for a politician to ask you to come and even go and protest? You don't have time. People who go and start blocking and start being used, pay them sometimes 1,000 naira. We used to hear all this to go out. It's because of the level of poverty. So if politicians learn in Nigeria, learn to be self-reliant, the political parties members will have the capacity to talk, to express themselves, contrary to what is happening today.
I believe that the ideology of a political party is also its conscience. PDP has its ideology, APC has its ideology, LP and the rest of the parties, they have the ideologies, and that ideology is like the beacon, whereby anytime it is chanted or anytime it is remembered, it charts the course for the party. What do we do to strengthen this loyalty to party's ideology in this country? Because from your explanation, it's like people they don't even know what they, like Messi said earlier, some people don't even know the ideology of their party, but they are just in the party. So being in a party is enough. So what do we do to strengthen that loyalty to political ideology?
Yes.
And instead of persons, because certain political party members, their loyalty is to individuals.
To individuals.
Not
yes.
to
Where the
party.
individual is even stronger than the institution.
Essentially, that is the abnormality I'm discussing here.
Yes.
That what is happening in Nigeria, what is happening in the states, is not political party administration. You can strengthen the enforcement of ideology by using Nigerian constitution. You have not reached the level where there have been many things that have been discussed now in various political parties, including the APC that is in government. If you go to their parties, though some of them have it, the party constitution, you will say when they talk of zoning, they say leave the issue of zoning. We'll discuss that on amicably, which is not correct. We'll discuss that amicably is what is responsible for violation of political party ideologies. That is why even right now I made the presentation to the National Assembly that what is happening at the states and even federal level, issue of zoning, Mr. President, position of Vice President, position of Senate President, Speaker of the House of Rep, well, and other political, very high-ranking political parties should be, the zoning of this position should be in the Constitution. That is constitution that can bring about fairness even at the national level. What is responsible for people agitating for their different groups to even be on their own is because of injustice, where one side will not have the opportunity of producing Mr. President. So I made a recommendation that for us to reduce the challenges we have in this country, these political parties at this level of authorities from president should be in the constitution. Don't say no, it's a political party matters. They cannot follow it. In the same way at the state level, because it's something I say, it's in my book, it's in my presentations in various areas that I make a presentation. We cannot resolve the issue of marginalization of some individual, some tribes, to use that word, in all the states of the Federation, including Benue. We cannot resolve that marginalizing certain groups unless, and I will say it detailed, the position of the governor, the position of deputy governor, the position of speaker of the State House of Assembly, the chief judge, and heads of ministry, department, and agencies will always be focused on one area if it is not in the constitution. And that is just the truth. Until we enforce, until those things are enforced, that okay, you have say 20 commissioners. That 20 commissioners share it into 3 zones, since we have 3 senatorial zones, all parts of the country. That means there is no zone that will have less than 6 commissioners. When you have the position of governor, and you have the position of deputy governor, and the position of the speaker, these are the topmost positions politically in every state. Those three must be distributed among the 3 zones. Until that is done, everywhere, every year, every electoral period, some senatorial zones will continue to complain.
Okay. So are you saying this also is affecting people's disloyalty to their party? Because now it looks as if it is personal friendly. People want to look for how to eat. They look for how to increase the size of their pockets or deepen the hole of their pockets. So has this contributed to the disloyalty people have for their parties? Because if you go to other climes, in as much as I'm trying to avoid mentioning the 2 major parties in the US, Congress and Democrat, but you discover that in a party, somebody can tell you proudly that his grandfather, his great-grandfather, his forefathers have been members of this particular party, that he is a member. And so the ideology of a party becomes like a family anthem. It has nothing to do with whether they won elections or not, but it has something to do with the ideology of the party. So now we see a lot of disloyalty to party ideology in this country. Like Mercy mentioned earlier, it's why people cross carpet. Somebody will be here today, next tomorrow is there. So it looks as if it is, for me, it's a personal finding now. It has nothing to do with the ideology. But so what you've just mentioned, could that be a reason for this disloyalty?
Well, I think the issue of marginalization and subjugation may not necessarily be the reason for the disloyalty of party members and lack of ideology. The issue of lack of ideology is responsible for this issue of cross-carpeting every year by some politicians.
You see, lack of what?
Lack of adherence or even absence of ideology.
Okay.
It's responsible for people leaving their political parties to other parties almost every year. Because and those are part of things too that I recommended in my paper to the National Assembly, that defection, you cannot, it is an illegal something, it is morally not justifiable for one to use one political party to enter either the State House of Assembly, the National Assembly, and even gotten a position, and then you now defect to another party. That is morally incorrect. So I made a recommendation that there should be a provision in the Constitution, even though some areas now they are trying to force it, just like what is happening in Rivers.
Yeah.
That APC members, you say you are going to PDP, okay, you lose your positions.
Yeah.
There are many areas now that is going on. But I'm saying that that thing should be in the Constitution, because people, many areas, many states are not following that. And that is why you can enter. I know of many senators that won position to enter Senate, to enter even House of Assembly, and if their party is not the party in government, they just say they are no longer member of the party that gave them the leeway to even have that position. So I made a recommendation that another thing that must be in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that any politician that wins an election into any segment, or even have not just winning election, having any political positions, if you defect, you lose that position.
Okay, I know we're due for a break. We will come up from the break. I'll bring to bear the issue of new leadership that is being formed, by political parties ahead of the forthcoming local government elections and the subsequent elections that will be coming out, and then the process of coming up with candidates, because that's where oftentimes leadership is gotten wrong in this country. The process of bringing that leadership from the political parties to begin with.
Yeah, but that will be after this break. Please join this conversation. It's getting more interesting by the minute. You can ask your questions and participate through using our media handles, social media handle. Do stay as we go on this break. Glad you're still there. We've been talking on management of political parties and the upcoming local government elections. Now we've been talking with Honorable Agbo Abo, former chairman at the local government, Benue State. You were supposed to give answers to the questions.
Or address the issue of selection of candidates.
All right.
Because that's where the problem of leadership in Nigeria is. Well, we first and foremost get it wrong.
Yeah.
That selection process before, because these political parties parties present this candidate to Nigerians, and so Nigerians now sometimes are left with no choice but to choose
between or amongst them.
At least the best, right? And oftentimes it's not the best of candidates that have been offered to them to make their choice to vote. Now that we have a situation where there is so much rift cut across different political parties among themselves, we're not seeing that unity, that common goal and purpose, shared vision, shared ideology. We're not seeing that. We're seeing more of interest, ego playing out here among political parties. Don't you think it will have a lot of affecting or playing out the choice or quality of candidate that will be presented first and foremost in this forthcoming local government elections? Because it's not a thing of who was a lawyer to me when I was trying to win a chairmanship of this political party, when I was trying to win publicity secretary of this political party. Will there be consideration as to, irrespective of who was a lawyer to you during the time of struggle for power, as against the quality of the choice of candidate that should fly the party's tickets?
Well, thank you very much for that question, because it's another problem that we have, practical problem that we still have. I'm saying even now, because the mode of getting our leaders is always faulty, especially at the state levels, where people are not recruited, to use that word, by merit. You cannot have good governance in that state, in that local government, or even in that nation. A situation where even as politicians, when they say there is primary or there is election, before we even go to our wards for this election, we have known who is our local government chair. We have known who are our councillors. I will say that is a primitive display and use of power, where you don't allow the electorates to elect or to decide who their chairman is, who their councillors are. That is a great injustice to the people. Is an abuse of democratic practice, because democracy, as we are told, is the government of the people, by the people, not by one person. So, where we will create a situation that if you want to be chairman, you want to be councillor, you run to Makodi. That automatically removes the privilege of the people you are supposed to govern at the local level. That's removing their privilege. Sometimes, even on the day election, people go to their farm because they say, especially when they have known who they have posed as a chairman. And you ask them to say there's election. Who are you deceiving? They know that. That's why I say it's a primitive display of authority. Authority, if one of the principles of good leadership is fairness, justice. If you are Mr. Governor, if you are Mr. President, and you don't allow this to take place in your domain, no matter how good. I made a statement somewhere that, take example of Benue State. Our governor, there is no doubt anywhere that Governor Alia no doubt about his performance. Surprising performances. But I made a statement that if he was not able to reconcile his political party before even the local government elections, it will affect his credibility as a performing governor. Especially when he's a man of God. The primary purpose of Jesus Christ coming to this world is to reconcile the sinners with the Almighty God. That is the primary focus. The principles of reconciliation. And as a man of God, I expect him to champion the issue of reconciliation within his group. This one now that we have allowed the external force, Abuja, to now try to now enforce peace instead of within, it's not good. It diminishes the image, because people love, most people, let me use that word, most people love the governor, especially with his performance. He would have completed it by using the principle of reconciliation of the people. So, that recruitment you mentioned, yes, it's a problem for all of us. Even now, it's a problem for all of us, even within all the local governments, all the wards. People are now aspiring and looking forward, calling either Mr. This or Mr. That high political office holders. I'm loyal to you. Help me to be chairman. Help me to be councillor. Instead of allowing the people to decide. So I made a recommendation that even for the forthcoming election, because there are several states that have built scheduled elections because of the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. They have scheduled election between now and October. Even for the primary, I thank God that even for the APC government in Benue State, the first or the disbanded state ESCO, whichever side, because we have two sides now. Then I say the primary election where everybody has the position or the contribution to decide who will even represent them during the election as the chairman, as the councillor. It should be this open ballot system that we have been introduced. That is not bad. Even though sometimes when they say open ballot, sometimes stakeholders within the ward, within the local government, the elders can come up and say, for fairness, ladies will be like this. That is acceptable in political party. So I'm recommending that the people that will bear the flag of different political parties, their names should not be sent to Mr. Governor or the party executives. It should come from the people that in every ward you have stakeholders. By stakeholders we mean people, let me just summarize it, people with top political office holders in each ward. Highest you can restrict it to say 10 former chairman, former commissioner, former House of Assembly.
You are saying the people? contesting those positions should come from these stakeholders.
Those stakeholders should, even before the open primary,
Yeah.
those stakeholders should meet, because it's what they can, they normally influence even the direction of the primary.
So why
Where it
can't
is decided that for the purpose of peace, this person has gotten it before, this one has not gotten it, so the forthcoming chairman should go to the place that have not gotten it. This one, those elders and top political office holders can meet to give guidelines, even at what will happen at the general election.
Yeah.
Okay, in order not to sound as if we are digressing, is that democracy? Because we're trying to look at, okay, you spoke about zoning earlier, because
Yes.
I've read somewhere a long time ago that if we must enforce zoning, then it's no more democracy, because democracy should be left for the people to decide who becomes their chairman, their councillor, their governor, their president. Okay, now in order not to sound as if we are digressing, if somebody is competent from zone Y, but because zone B or zone C or zone A has not gotten it, you take it to zone B, but there's somebody that is obviously competent from zone Y. How do you think that will affect one political management and of course the running of that particular entity?
Well, the truth is that there is no, I would say, no word in this present Nigeria that you cannot have one person that people can say this person can do that work. One person, even from word. There hardly any word. It's just like something I put in my book that where they put minimum qualification to be president. In the old, even the 79 constitution to be secondary school. I say no, that is not correct now, because there is hardly any family in Nigeria today. Those days, 79 to even 80.
Yeah.
Those days for you to be a WASC holder, it means you are almost the number one person in that family now. But now, the situation has changed.
Yeah.
I'm sure, including even, I would say, even your immediate family, there hardly any family now that will not have graduates. So I said, minimum qualification to political positions, even councillor, should be a degree of HND. To be in tandem with the current situation, not what we had in the 70s.
Okay.
So, what you are saying about issue of getting a qualified person to run the ticket, I'm telling you now, you are saying that it should not be put in the constitution, in the guideline. And I'm telling you now that if it is not put by force, Nigeria has not reached the level where we say gentleman agreement. We have not reached that level. So the only way to compare, that's why some sections in Benue State are suffering. Like everybody is aware, even the thief people, like Paul Unongo, who agitated before he died that governor's position should go to Zone C for fairness. So if you want to, and of course, people say that no, we have the population. So if you don't enforce, say this is should be by force, and leave it for say that one now you are saying now that there should be session in this country that can never become president and can never be governed.
Okay, this forthcoming local government election is very, very fundamental, and that's because it will set the precedence for other elections. It will either applaud or discourage the hope that people had in the local government autonomy about development. So it's very important that the candidates in which these resources will be chosen upon will be totally scrutinized. What would be your recommendations? I'm still dwelling on the selection process now, because we are at this stage now where political parties are trying to come up with either consensus candidates or do primaries and come up with a candidate that will, on that day of election, represent the party, and hopefully every party will want to win a local government election. What will be your recommendations towards this process?
Well, my first recommendation is both at the high echelon of the political party and even the government. I want to say and tell them that we have been having poor system of recruiting leaders at the local governments, especially in Benue State, where things are changing for the better in terms of governance. I would strongly advise both the government and the political party. I mean the new ESCO now.
Yeah.
To do something that will reflect that the government is neutral. The political party is neutral in terms of recruiting the chairman and the councillors. We are the practitioners. Even now, when once I know that the governor is trying to inflect who is the chairman of a particular local government, I will know. So it's not a question of there will be free and fair playing ground. That one is
sorry to butt in here, but do you see a situation where most governors, because recall that most of these governors in Nigeria were totally against local government autonomy, do you see them now trying to use their political power first and foremost as a governor of the state to influence outcome of local government change, so as to still be in control of local government resources to some extent?
Yes, that is very good. That is very correct. My stand on that line, on that area where I'm talking about justice and fairness and a free hand to do election, I will boldly say that if the financial autonomy granted to local governments, to the 774 local governments in Nigeria, if it is not followed by a constitutional review and maybe a Supreme Court directive that a separate body from the state electoral bodies, if a separate body is not constituted, either a separate one like they are trying to talk of national local government commission, electoral commission, or some people are saying INEC. If it is not done by either, if the election is not done at the local government by these independent bodies, the financial autonomy will not have much effect until people who are to manage that finance are independently elected from the power of the state. We have achieved nothing. So I am struggling. I'm even expecting that the pronouncement of the Supreme Court giving autonomy, financial autonomy to the state should have been followed by also a directive. Somebody was one lawyer was analyzing and saying yes, Supreme Court is both the judiciary and Supreme Court has their pronouncement is binding, is persuasive, is binding, and they give the direct policies as the highest court of the land. I was expecting that any local government, any state, that I was expecting a separate body, even in the election going on now, even between now and October or November, some states have said, I'm saying all should have been under an impartial body, not state electoral bodies. That is the only way we will now have and know that yes, given the financial autonomy, will be complete. To leave it to say yes, you have financial autonomy, and then the recruitment of chairmen and councillors is still within the ambit of the state. Sorry, we have not done anything. Because that is why I made a special appeal that for the governor to really give free hand, because free hand, as I said, shouldn't be the one they talk on newspaper or on radio or television. Is what we see at the level until the people, the electorates, are given the authority, or even the party members are given the power to elect their chairmen and councillors, and not by individuals. Say governor is supporting this person, let that person bring a chairman. That is an abuse of authority.
Okay, now what have you got to say about the very expensive prices on forms for elections?
Very good. That's the area that I'll say with the new committee set up in Benue State, I have no doubt that they are going to reverse that 5 million naira tag. Because asking people from the local government to contest to be chairman and ask them to produce 5 million is an indirect way of breeding corruption. Because I'll tell you, you hardly see any person that can afford. These are either whether they are former students. That is the problem we have. Most of the people that are governing our local government, some of them have never worked in life anywhere. Some don't even know what is fine, and you made them chairman because they say somebody say make that person chairman. As you say, sometimes when I think of this, I used to wonder that is the people, I don't even know whether the person is governor. I say, is this person educated? That to be a graduate means you are matured. The way you're thinking, everything should be different. Then for somebody to say somebody should be chairman without even asking of his qualification, you are killing democracy, killing the people. Because when you don't give the people the privilege of deciding who is their leader, and bringing somebody who doesn't have both the educational qualification and even the experience to lead them, you are killing the people. So I am strongly recommending that the forthcoming election, please, for the first time, let the people decide who is their leader. Not giving authority to one person in the local government to decide. And the person now will go and bring his or her father, or brother or auntie to be chairman. That's why I say it's primitive display of authority.
Okay, we have these issues, of course. People at the grassroots are always having issues with that too. That let's say Makodi local government now, where Makodi local government, we are supposed to conduct elections chairman, the person they are bringing as chairman, is not somebody we knew before. And after the elections, he becomes chairman of Makurdi local government. Maybe all his life he grew up in Lagos, or he was never even in the country. How will you react to that?
Well, I think that is the ill, one of the major ills we are experiencing in our states. Because I say what we are discussing now is not about one state. That is the evil we are experiencing in our states, including Benue, where you go and bring somebody that majority, I would say virtually 90% of people never knew, and say they are making them taxation chairman or even members. How would they perform? Who would they know? They don't even know people to consult. Unfortunately, that is the situation in my own local government. I would say for the past 2 transition committees they were setting up, the people that they brought to be transition chairman of my local government are people that up till now have been in politics since 1998, that gave birth to 1999 general election. I don't know them because they were brought because somebody was asked to bring their names, and you bring people that people don't even know. That's why I say it's primitive display of authority. If you have authority to do something that people will like you. Do something that people will say, Kai, this person is very good. Next time, let that person come. You don't go and concentrate all powers, even just like as I'm talking, that we will make a situation where all political appointees are in one place. It shows the level of elders we have. That is different anyway, because where the elders are not even given the chance, like what is happening. So most of the time, the elders are not even given the chance to decide, and major political former or present political appointees and the elders of the party are not given the chance. Just like I'm telling you, there's no way you want to decide to be, especially transition committee. We had it before. I wouldn't want to name something. There are some where we have the privilege of nominating a chairman. What the governor directed, get a maximum of 20 persons, and gave a direction. Former House of Assembly members, former commissioners, former chairmen of the local government, special advisors to the governor. They will list them and they say these people must meet to nominate, even if it's a transition committee. These people must meet to decide who should go. But where you give authority to one person to decide, and you say it's democracy, even the local people will laugh at the government.
Because of the whole local government autonomy is making this local government election look, very big to use the word lucrative, where
Yes.
when I have so many interests, so many people out there want to pick the firms, want to contest, want to be the consensus candidates, and of course want to be local government chairman because of the promising nature of the regime of the next chairman cut across Nigeria in terms of handling of resources of the local government chairman. And sadly, some of them may not even have a clear manifesto or intention or good plans for this local government. But it's very crucial that at a time like this, our local governments begin to compete positively, compete in terms of building resources, strengthening themselves. Because if they get it wrong now, it may affect, the struggle for getting this local government autonomy going. Seeing that it's been quite a struggle trying to attain this height, where it was praised that the time has when local government chairmen were controlling resources, there was some level of development. If they fail, then it will alter or ruin the entire struggle. But if they get it right, so what would be your advice to intending candidates who have this zeal to go contest these elections?
Well, I think that's important. My advice said, that people are not doing you favor or doing people favor when they don't have the qualification, they don't have the experience to lead a local government. And you say because this person is always carrying this top politician back, he should go and be the chairman. That's more or less the situation now. The situation of allowing people carrying politicians back. Oh, you are the car, you are the wonderful person. You are the this thing. Okay, that person should go and be the next chairman. There can be no development because the person, any person that is not developed, how can you develop a community? You can't develop a community when yourself is not developed. So, my advice both to the electorates, to the political stakeholders, is that for the first time, considering the level of resources that is going to the local government, let us strive to get somebody that can manage the local government for the interest of all of us. You were mentioning the issue of just getting people to go there and the implication. Yes, if you don't get it right, like all of you are saying, if you don't get it right by bringing capable hands, no, what we are talking about is about the danger of bringing somebody from outside. Yes. And that it is not democracy to say you are nominating somebody. It is. But there is nothing wrong. Before 1999, where things were working in Nigeria, even if you are in London and they see that you are capable, that was irrespective of, to use a word, irrespective of the zone, they beg you. In fact, where things are working, they beg people to come and get positions. Yes, there are some people, even within my local government, that you ask them to come and be local government chairman. They will not come. Because they look at local government and say, how? With all decorum, I want to say that even where something, the local government position was zoned to my place, and they invited me from Lagos, I rejected it in the first instance. I said, in fact, when they brought it, I said, look, I was staying in duplex off Allen Avenue, Ikeja, the most expensive place in Ikeja. That was where I was living, with an official car as a head of a management staff of the Industrial Training Fund. I was attached with car. And you say I should come and be local government chairman and say, for me to go and live in Atigmali from the Allen Avenue. People have to convince me that, oh, it's for the interest of the people. Somebody used the word that you are in your comfort zone and your people are suffering. That is the type of people we should look for to go and head local governments. Not people that have, somebody that have never worked in life. Because it's carrying your bag, then you say should be local government chairman. That's why I say it's an injustice and a great abuse of the people.
That's interesting. So now, just to Mrs. Line, we are very expectant as far as the local government administration is going to be, because of this autonomy. The local governments have complained that the state level is hijacking the resources that is meant for them. Now it's going to be given to them. What should we expect from our local government excuse as far as administration is concerned after this election?
Well, the ESCO, I would say even the citizens, this is the time for them to wake up. This is the time for them not to sleep and say whatever will happen, let it happen. No. The great philosopher who said that the greatest offenders of the society is where the good people are not talking, where there is evil.
Yeah.
I think that is the exit that invented the scientists.
Yeah, Einstein.
Yes. So there is a call for the local government, whether you are among the elite or whether you are even in the village. This is the time for you to stand up to monitor what is happening in your local government, to monitor how monthly allocation from Abuja to you is spent. There should demand accountability, and for the incoming local government chairman or ESCO executive, I will advise that they should have what I call ward development committees. The ward development committees should be made up of prominent indigenes of that ward. And their responsibility will be to advise the chairman to be interested on what is coming to their ward in terms of development. To compare, even when I was in Lagos, I was doing that when I was not part of this. I had a list of expenditure made to various areas, and I say, why is so amount spent on this area? Why only very few is spent on this area? I asked that question, and everybody in Ado knows that I was interested in that thing. You can't be spending money, the money that is meant to enhance the local community, and give and award contracts only to people you feel like. No, that ward development committee will be interested, will ask questions on what is happening monthly and how the money is used. Apart from the development committees, I also advise that individual stakeholders or even the non-stakeholders should know how their money is spent on monthly basis. Let them know.
Some advice from elder state people like you.
Yes, the first advice that I'll give is just like what even the governor did it in Benue State here.
Okay.
Take a tour. I did that when I was a local government chairman. Take a tour of all the wards. We have 10 wards in Ado. The first thing I did was to take a tour of all the 10 wards. And I discovered where they don't even have road to enter. So the first that time we still have even this issue of this financial diversion was not there. I would say it was not even there during that was during Akume period. It was not there. So I took a tour on area that to give me the idea of the focus where I should really help the people, which we did. So the first thing that I said, if you become a local government chairman, take a tour of all the wards in the local government. Secondly, carry all political stakeholders along in your administration. Don't say this is the person that brought you, so you only listen to that person. You are killing yourself. You are killing your political future, because everybody knows that this is not a good leader. Even when you leave, even as they say they are spending 4 years. Carry people. I remember the governor was telling us that those days that carrying stakeholders along is not to put them on trailer and go to Abuja. That does not mean they carry people along. Carrying people along, and it doesn't mean that you are wasting the local government resources. Carrying people along simply means during festivities, just what we call protocolists, including the chiefs. Reach out to them from time to time. Take this, because I'm telling you now that this one is not, even if you are not using the government resources, the security vote you have monthly is sufficient to make people like you as a local government chairman. I was advising to people that came after me. I say, when I was at the local government, when they brought security vote, I just put it on my cupboard in the guest house, local government guest house there. Oh, this morning by 6 o'clock, people knocking. That money, in fact, even that the governor told us that the security vote is not meant for you to go and recruit new police. That is not the meaning of a security vote. Security vote means reach out.
All right. I think that is a good place to leave it. Thank you very much for coming, and we expect you on our show again to give unto us what we don't really know as far as politics is concerned. This is the end of the program at this point in time. Please do stay tuned for the rest of our program. We're talking to Honorable Agbo Abo, former chairman, Ado local government. Please stay with us as we close on this show today. My name is Steven Abba.
My name is